Okay. Good evening, folks, and welcome, or I should say, late afternoon. Episode 521, and today we'll be having Sean Sutton of Cincinnati MMA and also part of JKD Unlimited Association. So, if you want to check out his bio, he was on earlier. I can reference that in the comment section. I can put the exact episode in there if you want to check that out. So, today won't be really bio related. Today we're going to be talking about the programs in JKDU and those who maybe are not all familiar with Burton has offered, but it's plenty. And we're going to go over that today, what he's done, what I've done, and what he's doing and what I'm doing currently. And hopefully you folks will get some insight and better insight what Burton does. But without further ado, here is Sean Sutton. If you're watching, smash that like button. If you have questions, put them on the comment section. I will get to them. However, if they're not pertaining to what we're talking about, I will jot them down and I will insert them when there's better relevance. Hey there.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Great to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. I thought this would be kind of neat, just again, like maybe folks who are not familiar or they can get some aspect of, what Vern's about. And I thought you'd be kind of neat just because there's some things that you're doing have got certification that I didn't and kind of vice versa. I think
yeah, definitely.
But just before we get started into all that, just for the folks who maybe didn't see the first one, just a quick rundown of, so two-part question, quick rundown of your martial arts background and when you met Burton.
Yeah. So again, I'm Sean Sutton and I run JKD Unlimited at Cincinnati MMA Academy in Cincinnati, Ohio. Actually, it's Westchester, Ohio, but everything is Cincinnati around me for about 500 miles. I'm kidding, but not really. Yeah, I started martial arts when I was a kid. I started with Taekwondo, and I did a number of martial arts. And I actually did JKD and Kali before meeting Burton here in Cincinnati, where I'm from. I joined the Marine Corps, and then I went, I got stationed after my A school, and I got to pick my station. So I picked Hawaii, and I literally like about a month after landing, I went to Burton's school in Hawaii, in Honolulu, JKD Unlimited headquarters, and that was 2010.
And 2010, okay.
Yeah, it's about 15 years now.
Wow. So you mentioned you did some training as far as FMA JKD before you met him. And who was that with?
Charles Reed at the Reed Academy.
Was it, what style was he?
That's Inasanto JKD and Inasanto Kali. Yeah.
Okay. And he was obviously by you then? Okay. All right. Yeah. So you went there. So what'd you find different, I guess, from that, your initial exposure there to when you went to go train with Burton?
So Burton, and we're going to get into this, but Burton's programs are focused on like sparring, like very, very specifically on sparring. And you need to complete sparring logs or, sparring rounds in order to become proficient in that program and to test in that program. And then the testing in that program, which there was testing in both, is sparring instead of, there's some like you have to answer some questions. Usually it's like conceptual questions with a couple techniques maybe per test, but the bulk of the test is actually performing those techniques live with a resisting opponent. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, that's what I found too. I found, and no fault of the system instructor and all that, but drills, I found most of it pre-Burton. A lot of the FMA was very drill centric, but a lot of the drills, while they had a value, it didn't necessarily mean though they translated to what happens out there. So the disconnect even became more illuminating when I got with Burton. You know what I mean? Like as far as the functional, how to make it functional,
Yeah, totally. And there, I should say, because I do jujitsu too, so I might make some references. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I will say in jiu-jitsu, there's this whole thing about like, you don't need to drill, like it's ecological, you don't need to drill. I do think you need both. There's a place for drilling too. And, some people, that's just what they want to do. They want to drill, right? So like, there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you are, pursuant of like sparring and function, like performing well in sparring against resistant opponents, the way to do it is to spar against resisting opponents.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, well, yeah, absolutely. And, and I think, because I always, when I came to those conclusions after him, I reflected back and I'm like, how come the other people are not doing this? Like, why wouldn't they not take his approach in gradual increments, knowing that you can always increase the resistance and et cetera, et cetera? Like, but why, I mean, like, why wouldn't they even attempt to try that or model that? And there's still a lot that don't. And I don't have the answer. You know what I mean? I think I think it's maybe just what you got exposed to, therefore you kind of just give what you got. And you know what I mean? And I think if you're transparent to your students, I think that's fine. Like, hey, look, this is the way I got it. I'm giving you to the way I got it. I think that's great. You know what I mean? But it did make me wonder though, like, how come more are not adapting to like Burton's methodology?
Yeah, I mean,
Again, I don't have the answer.
there's a number of things. I will say the first day I was at headquarters in Honolulu, um, and actually Burton didn't teach my first class. Walker was teaching the first class. I came in and I remember we sparred right
Okay.
away.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did the techniques and stuff, and we sparred, and I was like, I didn't know that we were going to spar. I didn't know like the programs like that when I walked in. I knew who Burton was, but I didn't know like what the programs were like. And I started sparring, and afterwards, I was just so ecstatic. Number one, I'm young. I'm like 23, and I'm in the Marine Corps. I'm a very active person, and it was super fun to just spar somebody. And I just got out of boot camp, so like we did sparring in boot camp and stuff. So like when I did that in the collie that like in a system that I've already been kind of working in, I was like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I want. I want to do these techniques, and the techniques were all in reference to what I was going to do in sparring, and not necessarily just like attribute acquisition, like trying to like build my cardio or my strength or something. I was hooked.
No, I tell you, I was thrilled too by his approach because there was no disconnect. It's like everything that we practiced, where it was the power generation, technical approach, explanation, like there was a direct link to the sparring. Like you know what I mean? So, and I'm a huge fan of less is more. So yeah, I loved it. I adapted to it right away, and 2014. Yeah. So still going as well as you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said, so what have you taken? So what programs have you taken from them thus far?
Man, I actually need to pull up a list. It's kind of long. So I've taken Battlefield Collie Stick. I'm an instructor in Battlefield Collie Stick, Knife, and Sword. I'm a full instructor in JKDU Unlimited MMA for the street. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the street. I'm a instructor in CLOT for the street. I'm an instructor in Junfon JKD trapping, and I'm an instructor in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
I may have missed one. And then I'm currently working on staff Panatuke. I haven't taken any levels yet. Panatukan staff, the Illustrissimo system, the cane and knife program. I have the Wing Chun dummy program, and I have a couple more.
I was there doing the cane and knife program. I was there, but I haven't gone through the levels yet. Staff I did. Staff was really a lot of fun. Staff was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that one's awesome. I actually probably should test soon. I haven't done sparring rounds in like a couple weeks, but like I like doing it.
It's so much fun. Yeah, the staff really, and that's like the one weapon like I did a lot of the configurations, but for whatever reason, the only stuff I had was way back in my Taekwondo days, and it was very form oriented.
Yeah.
It was more kind of showy, but yeah, his was, I loved it. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, no surprise that you're not, you're enjoying it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really do. And what I'm waiting for Burton, in case he's watching, in case he watches this, what I'm waiting for Burton to release is the multi weapons program. So weapons versus weapons. That's what I'd really
Like
like.
different configurations and
Like
weapons. Ah,
stick
yeah,
versus
yeah,
knife, stick
yeah,
versus staff, double
right.
stick versus single.
Yeah, that would be interesting, man.
There's there's another one that I'm really waiting for that it will probably be the most like the one that's going to come out the soonest. But I won't announce it for him or anything. But I really want that one. But the one that I haven't heard him talk about in a little bit, but that I want is that. And all my students want the tomahawk one, the axe one, hand axe. What?
I forgot about that one.
I get asked about that a
Oh
lot.
my god, I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot about that. Uh, um, because I did it under Zulu, but I can't, but still, could be some different material in there.
Yeah, I'm interested in the new progressions in Zulu because I did Zulu with Burton at headquarters. Before he
Yeah,
has all these programs, he's teaching them at
yeah, right.
headquarters.
He was in the group classes, right? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like part of the program, so you
yeah.
do Zulu in Battlefield Kali class. But I'm interested because I know you've gone through the whole program and I haven't gone through it at
Oh,
all.
I loved it. It's probably the funnest program, the most fun and simultaneously educational program. And I really took it for a better understanding its influence in Piper,
Mm-hmm.
just as in there. But it went so far beyond that. Like my initial reasoning for doing it, but just the whole aspect of working, with an actual shield, um, the war club, and then when you go to metal, the axe or the spear. Is a lot, yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, you should do it. I think you would like it. Yeah, that was the most recent one I just did. Um, I'm so glad though, like that and the staff. I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, they're unique programs too, especially Zulu. I mean, who else is teaching
Who
Zulu?
else? I'm gonna tell you right now who else is teaching it, and it's me and him.
Yeah, that's right.
There's somebody in Canada who can do it. Matter of fact, I was supposed to meet when I was up there. But far as I know, and I could be wrong, but I believe U.S. speaking, just statewide. I think it's just Bert and myself. I
That's
think,
awesome.
yeah.
That's cool, and I really like what he's doing with putting a focus on African martial arts because there's like a lot. I'm very interested in Senegalese wrestling. I don't know if
You
you've
seen
ever
that?
watched it. Oh yeah, I've
Oh,
watched it. I used to work with a bunch of people from Senegal, like when I was very young, like 20, and they showed it to me very early on. Yeah, very cool. Like,
that looks like, man. And some of those guys are freaking enormous. Some of
oh
the
yeah,
videos I've seen on YouTube in the sand, and I'm just like, man,
yeah, they are very
yeah.
muscular. Yeah, the average height has got to be pretty high for those fighters.
The guys I saw, I mean, they were well over 200 pounds.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, probably like 230, 240, probably over six. Yeah.
It's interesting. It does have a lot of like crossover with sumo, but they're super muscular. Sumo guys are muscular too, but they
Yeah.
have like some body fat. Obviously, those dudes don't have body fat in Senegalese wrestling.
Guys
It's
I
like
was looking
sumo with
at
like
seemed
yeah.
really well conditioned, in shape. I didn't see any that were like, matter of fact, I saw a video, and I can't tell you like how good the sumo guy was or the Zulu, but the Zulu guy, I'm sorry, the Zulu,
The Senegalese wrestler. Yeah.
Senegal wrestling guy was like moving the sumo guy.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah,
I
pretty
was like,
cool.
I
No,
thought like, yeah, but
it's not one
so
of Burton's programs. I just like it.
yeah. Did he do it? Did he do any? I don't know if he.
I remember he told me a story that he was talking to someone who knew it, but I think it was in passing. He like asks anyone about martial arts that he
Yeah,
meets.
yeah. Oh, by the
Uh,
way.
Yeah. And he like they were showing him, so I forget the name of it. It starts with an L. But he asked like, "Hey, do you know like
Yeah,
this?" Like
yeah,
found out
yeah.
their background, asked if they knew anything about this, and they were showing him stuff. But I don't know if he's formally done it or not.
I don't either, and I know if I had to guess, I would think maybe not because I know we've talked about it before, and I think when we did, I think he would have brought up, oh, by the way, this could be, um, but yeah, but like now to go do that now with those guys, man, like that's freaking, yeah, that I tell you, that's, yeah, there's something there with that.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, those are some big boys, man. Yeah. And so let's go. JKDU. Here's one. Let's talk about one we did together.
Okay.
We can both give our insights. I tell folks like I'll often get messages on Messenger like, hey, I'm looking at checking out Burton stuff. What would you recommend? And so then I said, well, what's your background? And like, where's an area that you think you're not addressing or all that? And a lot of it is like that actual kind of just pure self-defense. And to me, the seal off for the street, I thought he hit a home run with that. Um, I just
Yeah.
thought, man, the organizational structure, how we handle the haymakers, and just dialed in on what worked and the levers. Man, that's one of my favorite programs. I just thought he nailed that at the park.
Yeah. So, I have grappling in my background. I wrestled when I was a little kid, black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm also training judo with Chris Makuda as well. It's outside of the JKD Unlimited program, but he's a JKD Unlimited instructor as well. Um, so, like, I have a grappling experience, but doing CLOT and understanding the levers made me better in all forms of grappling. It is so, and no, I've never heard anyone explain it like that. And he has like his acronym LAPOA, which I'll let him, describe LAPOA at a seminar to you guys. It's just a little, you can go to his seminar. But it just like, I think about it every time I'm doing a takedown or like practicing, like drilling it. It's like, where am I in each step of this off balancing?
Mm.
How is my body structure? Am I stepping in the right way? Am I moving in this right lever? Every time I'm in stand up grappling. I love the Seal Off the Street program.
Man, I've been pushing that. Like, I've got most of my students on, like, assuming they're doing something on their hand, majority seal on. Like, it's just, and I tell you, they all had the same question mark I did, like, because of what you're seeing via social media, the dance and all that. And I think it's great and there, but the people I know are generally functionalists, and they were saying like, well, I don't understand how I would make that. I said, look, if you do this program, you'll understand it. You'll see absolutely how you can functionalize it. And like you were saying, the whole thing on the levers and the initial bouncing, like I got one Eric O'Brien here who's watching, and he's one of my students, and he was skeptical again. And I was too, and then finally I said, you know what, let me try. If anybody can make this work for me, it'll be Guru Burton. Best decision I made besides starting to train with him. But
Oh yeah.
Eric, who's a BJJ guy like you, wasn't really seeing it and feeling it, and then we started doing it. He's a fan now, So
Yeah, and let me just talk about the function, like how functional it is. I trained an MMA fighter, and when she had like a little bit of like a taekwondo background, and she'd done some Muay Thai, and so when she came to me, I gave her obviously jujitsu, but the clench is what she gravitated towards. She liked to like clench people, so my game plan for her, the what I built her style around was CLOT, like push them to the cage and use CLOT, like sweeps and back sweeps to get them to the ground off the cage so they couldn't back up. And we'd use forward levers and side levers, and we would do a sequence of like Beset Loire, Beset Dalam, and
mm,
Sapu Dalam mostly. Sapu Loire, she didn't do as much. I mean, a little bit with the hook, like the hooking version.
the hook over
Uh,
the rear, the heel. Okay,
yeah, with the heel instead of with the foot itself.
yeah.
But yeah, like we use CLOT. That was her protocol that we were doing. You fight them to the cage, push them against the cage, and then you do use the CLOT takedowns to get them to the ground, so you can do a ground and pound.
I could
And
definitely see that with the levers. Yeah.
yeah, and she ended up winning a championship, the strawweight championship. So
Wow.
it works.
Yeah. It totally works. I mean, and the whole thing on the just his emphasis on the clinch, getting in there and nullifying their offense while you're able to generate offense.
Yeah,
It just was well done. Yeah, just
yeah, getting it to work in a rule set that takes out most of CLOT's weapons just proves how effective it is. Because
yeah.
if we can do that in a limited rule set like mixed martial arts, probably
Well,
the
there you
least
go.
limited,
Right.
but and then imagine we're like gouging your eyes out while we're doing
Yeah.
it, kicking through your knee. You know,
Well,
like,
incidentally,
yeah,
yeah, I push it heavy just because I think it's such a great compliment for those guys who are really kind of like, for instance, BJJ, like they're doing gi and all this, and like maybe they've done some kickboxing that's was kind of rule oriented, sport oriented. I think this is an incredible compliment to all that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You see, lots a really interesting one because it has a lot of elements that you would find. Because I'm going to say this. We're on the FMA discussion, so I'm sure a lot of people know Indonesian Silat because of how like related the two are in the community. So I'm sure I'm just like preaching to the choir, but just in case somebody tunes in that doesn't know, Silat to compare to like an Olympic sport has a lot of like takedowns that are similar to a little bit like wrestling and judo. Like you'll see those types of things, but then the striking is not like kickboxing. It's like Krav Maga, like thumbs in the eyes, like rakes, like wipes across the eye, kicks to the groin, like groin grab takedowns. Like it's very, very much like a war art, like combat art, and it's incredible. And if you don't know a lot about it, it also has a second part, the penchak part of it, which is like the dancing part. Silat
Mm.
fight penchak is like the dancing part, right? So, you know, and then there's other words for it, but I need to brush up on the dance. I pretty much don't know any of the dance parts
I
at
started
all.
doing the Jews with. It's a
The
funny
jurors, yeah, yeah,
story. So he's got to see that dance. Like I was going through the Bhuti Nagar like as a separate program. Like I did
yeah,
the street, but like I told him, said, look, I just like to get a better understanding of everything and all that. So he started me with the Jurus, and then finally one day he goes, Dean, this is not for you. Just stick to the funk. Like he was honest. He goes like, and that's what perpetuated me into staff. So a good
yeah,
thing came out of it because if I stuck with that, I don't know when I would have done staff. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
with that being said, I do want to go back to see like dance program because all the Jewels in there. I just think it's just for a form of exercising and just going through this stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, um, I am very, I gravitate towards the resisted stuff,
I
right?
do
Like the
too.
stuff
I
where they,
totally do too. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So like that's why I haven't done it yet. But I'm sure there's going to be a season in my life where that's what I want to do. Where I want to do those types of things.
yeah, yeah. I'm totally with you. Like, matter of fact, I've gone, yeah, I've gone so edge weapon centric and all that, where like I just don't have time to weed through like, is it going to work? Or like, I just so with Burton, I just know like the majority of stuff is going to be excellent. It's going to work. It's tested. You know what I mean? Eric, Dean Franco, I don't want to see you dancing in a sarong. No worries, you won't. But yeah, so like I'm going through his level 7 stuff now, but the sarong was great. Like he shows the first sarong in level 6. And so I'm thinking like, now, because I don't go ahead. Like I want to just stay with, you know what I mean? So I don't watch the chapters ahead if I'm not training him. So I get
Hmm.
to level 6, I'm kind of excited. Okay, he's going to show Sarong. So he goes, so I'm looking, there's going to be this D thing, and then it's going to be functional. He goes, yeah, so the first best thing to do is just put a rock in it and just go. Like maybe I'm going to see this exotic choke and this trap, and it was like, nope. So that was neat. But it goes just to show you, like, it makes sense, like based on, you know, how he, teaches and what he advocates, right? It was just funny.
Yeah, I will to broaden that. Um, that is the one thing I really, not the one thing, but it is one of the things I like the best about the way he teaches. When he'll say something like he'll kind of take you down the road. Like, what do you think the best thing to do here is? Do you think it would be, like, what do you guys think? And it makes you think about it. And he says the most simple like thing. And you're like, oh yeah, of course, that's what we would do.
Yeah,
And like for example, something everybody will get, talking about hitting the hand, right? You're just like, what's the most effective and like lowest risk disarm you can do? And everyone's like, oh, a snake disarm,
yeah. You're thinking about the most.
yeah, like you're thinking of like complex like disarms when you do
Something.
disarm class, right? He's like, no, you hit them in the hand, defang the
No,
snake,
I know you
hit them
mean.
in the
Yeah,
hand, and you're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, of course, that is
I
the
know you
simplest
forget
thing.
like the simplicity of a question. Like it's simplicity the way he gives his material. When he asks a question like that, like it's like it can't be that easy. Like, it's like there's got to be a catch to it, right?
Yeah, but he's also teaching you to filter, right? Like he's
Yeah.
teaching the filter for you. It's not just about like knowing the right answer to the question. It's about knowing how to answer a question. It's the most
Mm,
simple answer.
yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. So see, like, yeah. So folks, you're watching. See left for the street.
Yeah, it's a great one. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Really like the scenario parts of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, very great.
No,
But
yeah. And it's funny because I had to see a lot. I had done first level tests, 1 through 4. But then when I started doing Piper, like I automatically saw the CLI influence it. Like just the light bulbs went off and all that. So yeah, great program. So then okay, yep, I done stick. Went to level 3 stick with him, which I thought his clinch and ground stuff, I thought it was phenomenal. Like I've used it, like beat the crap out of cancers, this kind of dog brother ethos in
mhm.
there. And like his stuff, just based on like his work with Eric Nouse and all that, but that stuff is really, really good.
Yeah,
Did both knives, the sparring dueling knife and then the defense for the street knife.
yeah. I didn't do the tests in the empty hand versus, but I have the program. I pretty much worked through the program. I just didn't do the tests. You know, like I listed a bunch of certificates. It's just about like scheduling tests for me for some of these. Like the stick, the clench stuff. I've done the stuff for clench and
Yeah,
stick, but I don't have level 3 and 4 yet.
it's really. I thought that was. I mean, nothing. The material previous to that, the alert was fantastic, but that I thought the clinch and his ground stuff was just really, again,
Have,
well done. And yeah,
you've done the rattan sparring as well? Is that am I
yeah. When you go to with the beat the crap out of cancer, it's
yeah.
again it's a lot of dog. Yeah, um, it's kind of dog brother centric. Yeah.
And
Um,
I will say when you go with rattan for but clench happens because if you get close enough, they are hitting you.
yeah,
It hurts. You grab them, so they'll stop hitting you.
they're
It is
like
natural. So you might
yeah,
want to
no,
have some
and
skill there.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. And his whole dime into the roof and to there, like
Oh
that
yeah.
all that material there, it's just it was well articulated, well, yeah, demonstrated. Um, okay, let's get so I think that's we done it, yeah. And then okay, so you've done. I haven't got the JKD trapping yet. I want to get through the Pontukin. I think
I
that
love the
might
Panatukan.
be next. Like I want to try to get away from weapons a bit and try to get. So would you like to? So tell us, yeah, for the folks who are watching, the JKD trapping one.
Yeah, Jake, the functional trapping. So I was lucky enough to get certified in that before he put out the video. So he had
Mm,
a whole program, and I did an
right. Okay.
instructor certification with him. Um, and then he came out with the program, so I got like to double. I did it
Yeah.
twice. It was pretty great to go through the whole program, but it's incredible. Like I've done Wing Chun in the past, and Wing Chun is usually done out of a certain form. And when they're sparring in Wing Chun, if you see Wing Chun sparring, it's usually against the structure of Wing Chun, right? But he's taken it and put it into like a kickboxing or MMA context. So you're like in a kickboxing context, and you can go in. And then he also has scenarios where aren't necessarily, much like the illustration most program, which we can talk about, we're not necessarily just kickboxing. You're in some other sort of configuration where you can trap and go in. But all of the traps that you know, if you've done Wing Chun, are in there. You can see where they progress. It's just compound trapping is simplified. And, if you're compound trapping, if you don't know, is where like I remove your hand, I throw a punch, you block with this hand, I wedge in here, I block this hand, boom, and then I hit here, and now I've got you completely tied up and I'm hitting you. And it requires, if you just think of it in probability, once I do the first trap and punch you, the likelihood, you have a bunch of options that you can do. And then, so I'm training a compound trap for you to block this way, but you could move your head. You could block up with your other hand. So the permutations get like infinitely complex the farther into the compound trap you go. And sometimes those compound traps lose the thread of what you're trying to do. The point of trapping is not to trap. The point of trapping is to punch the person or hit the person. That's the point. So if there's nothing in your way, you just punch them. If something gets in the way, you move it and you punch them. If something gets in the way, you move it. Maybe they move and then you follow up. And that's usually where it ends. And so that simplicity brought with, doing it against a resisting opponent, with the idea that I'm going to come in and trap. I do not, when I kickbox, I pretty much trap every time I kickbox now. Every time. And it's pretty great for, a system that's essentially just disregarded by most people in functional martial arts.
I think it's kind of like this. What most people see, they can't make heads or tails how to apply it, so they kind of just distances it. They don't even look at it, right? And I think that's where Burton excels, like bringing some of this stuff where, hey, look what we're doing with this. It's worth checking out. You know what I mean? Because of his approach, like you just mentioned, like, for instance, on the trapping, right? Like I would never and I know there's other people who are teaching it. Maybe it's not called the same thing he does, but he's the only one I'll do because I just know he'll make sense out of it for me. You know what I mean? And and I'm like, I have the weeds or stuff that like I just don't have time for that anymore. I just don't. Yeah.
Yeah, he mentions in the Panatukan program the difference between demonstration techniques and like I forget the other term that he used, but functional.
The functional feeding. Yeah.
Yes. And so he is talking about that. And a lot of times in martial arts, you get both, right? Like I did Kung Fu back in the day, and we literally had a day where we did forms, like a day that we did like katas, and then we'd do a day that we did sparring. And then the techniques you did on sparring day, you'd start out and you'd do sparring techniques, and it looks like kickboxing. And then you'd go to the forms, and it was like tiger style, and we're doing a bunch of different styles. And there was like a disconnect. And to me, I didn't see the difference between those two at all. I just thought, oh, you could do tiger stuff in sparring day. We just don't. I didn't actually think about it. Yeah, I'm young. I'm like 15 or whatever. And that was my idea. But what's great about what Burton does is he puts them in modules. So it's like, this is the dance. This is a demonstration part of the art. Or this is for coordination. Like you're learning this module for coordination. And at the end of this module, you will be good at your coordination and getting other people to be coordinated. And then you have like the For the Street programs and the Battlefield Kali programs, which is like you will be good at functionally fighting. And we just take out all of the demonstration stuff. We can reference it, or we can use it maybe to help our other stuff. but the techniques we're doing is for sparring, and that sparring is as close as we can get to replicate the real thing.
Yeah, no. It's yeah, no, and he's very articulate in the description. Yeah, like I again, if you look at like I look at everybody who's got programs, be online or in person or all the above, and he's definitely got, in my opinion, like the biggest assortment, or where like you could pick, like you just want to do your art, like maybe you just want to improve your health or mobility. Great, you do so. Like you want, like you just said, you want to get more coordinated with two weapons. You know what I mean? I mean, it's true. I hate the cliche of like a one-stop shop, because I know that means cheesy and that, because this is far from that here. But if you think about it, like he's pretty much offering a good chunk of stuff under one umbrella, right?
Yeah, what's really great, it's I have my favorite quote by Miyamoto Musashi. I think every martial artist has a favorite quote by Miyamoto Musashi. If you don't, you should get one, just to make me right about my assumptions. But my favorite is, when you know the way broadly, you see it in all things. And what I really love about doing the different modules is seeing the common threads in the martial arts. Like I've done many martial arts. At this point, I've done like tons of martial arts, tons. And they are more similar than they are different in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And especially like going, like seeing Burton's lens of it, because, the angles, he talks about the asterisks in a lot of different programs. And it really simplifies a whole system of striking. I can do these angles are like, literally an asterisk, right? And I can do that with weapons. I can do a stick. I can do a knife. I can do it with my empty hands. My different punches come from different angles, right? I can do it with elbows, right? Like, it's great to distill that information into a way that we can, the through line. It helps you learn each module faster. And then, like I'm a full instructor in MMA for the street as well. All of that enhances. Even, a lot of people don't think stick to MMA would help, but it does. It absolutely does. Like, you understand angles, you understand how simple things can be. Targeting, like, you have the hand, the head, and the leg. You think about in kickboxing, do I have targets, or am I just hitting their body wherever I want? I'm hitting the jaw around here. I'm hitting the nose here. I'm hitting the liver. I'm hitting the ribs, right? I'm hitting the nerve on the leg when I do a leg kick. Of course, I'm hitting to the groin as my primary attack, the eyes. So, it's great to just look at the modules and then compare them, and then it will make you better in each of them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. No, you're absolutely right. So UKI, yeah, let's go. So his KI program, two things I think he did that were absolutely brilliant. Everybody has a count, the 12 count, Bitterata, hanging step. But what he really did, I believe, in my opinion, that set him apart, was he referenced every technique with a mini video of the great one doing it, Gianluca, and the ambush as far as the defensive movements. Those two things, I think he was brilliant on his part. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I was about to, if you weren't going to say it, I was going to say it. My favorite part of the KI system is the ambush stuff.
Yeah.
Because in Battlefield Kali, a lot of time we talk about it a little bit, but a lot of times what we're doing in Battlefield Kali is we're preparing for a duel that's going to enhance our understanding of how that weapon system is used, and then we can translate it into like a street fighting sort of situation. But it's for a battlefield. You're assuming another skilled person with a weapon. That's the battlefield part of it, right? I don't know if he's ever said that. That was just me saying that. So that's not.
It makes sense.
That's not his words.
We'll just run with it. No.
Yeah. But yeah, the ambush thing, like your weapon's down and they run up, and it's a lot like scenario in MMA for Street. I love that.
I thought it was brilliant.
I mean, and being former military, ambushes are a primary method of attack, especially in asymmetric warfare, which is like the entirety of the past like 20 years. But like in general, maybe the entirety of the last 70 years, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But Yeah, ambushes happen if you're in a battlefield situation all the time. So if you're going to have swords, you want to be prepared for someone to just run at you and you're not prepared and you come up. And just as an anecdote, um, we deployed, like the unit that I was with deploys to the Philippines. So a friend of mine who's also a battlefield collie and a JKDU Unlimited instructor and a former Marine, when he was stationed in the Philippines, he bought a sword and it came with a scabbard, right?
Yeah.
And they're like in Mindanao. So he's got, I think it's a Chris, I believe it was a Chris sword. But he's got this scabbard and it was just tied together. It was two
Just
leather
tied.
straps and it
I
was
know
just
you're going
tied.
with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh man, this scabbard's not even like sewn together right. It's like just a thing." And he's like, "No, it's for the guy who made it." Was like, "No, it's if you get ambushed, you don't have to pull it out. You can just hit them, and it'll cut through the
Yeah.
string and go right through them, but it's still safe to carry." And that's when I really was like, "Oh, they're prepared for an ambush," and you see that in the KI system.
Yeah, the way he does it, again, like that. And just like nobody could argue because think about it, he's showing something, then he had a video to parallel it and give it credence to the great one doing it.
Yeah, I love
So
it.
what are you gonna say? You're gonna say he's wrong? It's like
Oh,
the guy, you know what I mean? And then, like you said, the ambush. Like if I'm down here, oh man, oh wow, that's why maybe they would do Friday sometimes, right? Kind of
yeah.
come up in there. But yeah, I think those two things. I think he really nailed it. I think it was just brilliant on his part.
I also love the context because Tom Illustrissimo. I mean, oh man, is just number one legendary. You can see it in the movement. To the uninitiated, I think he looks very casual.
Mm.
Illustrissimo. Yeah, he looks casual as he's doing it. His stick is down. He's waiting. The person attacks, and he comes in. But having the context of he's showing you what if you get ambushed. Like I'm not standing there in a fighting stance because my stick's down at my side because I'm just waiting for a bus, and some guy attacks me and I come up and hit. It gives a context to each of the scenarios. It's very, very illuminating.
And that's the thing too. Like I'm not saying everybody, but okay, your typical number 5, Serrata, and you're open, right? Like generally speaking, that's what you see most of the factions are teaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like Bird pointed out, no, like he was here, he'd be down here, like you said, in these relaxed positions, right? Like you're not always like ready, ready to go, right?
Yeah.
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 How long
it's
you been
awesome.
doing it? How long
I
you
got
been
the.
into it?
Well, he showed it at headquarters, like some of it, and he would show the videos. And then every time he came for a seminar, he would show videos and show a little bit of it. So in a way, I've been doing it the whole time, like for about 15 years, but not primarily. But I got it day one that the video was released. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Long. I remember filming that with him. It's like it's surreal now, but it was just like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like I mean, like the staff was really kind of like relaxed. The knife and the cane, that program cat, man, it was just. I mean, it just was non-freaking stop, man. It was like those are some long days, like just yeah.
Yeah, let me just say, I've filmed with him too. So for everybody else saying like 3 days of filming, Burton is like super efficient. Like he is a one take guy. Like he gets it in one go.
I know.
We did the Wing Chun dummy and it was just like bam, 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 bam.
No, I know. We did the staff, not one hiccup.
Yeah,
not a single hiccup in the staff. I mean, I was just like, wow. I would be like, and then stop, redo. It was just and a couple with KI, but they weren't anything major. He just wasn't happy with some of the delivery that he was articulating on there. But I mean, that's a big program, and there were only a few hiccups that he had. And again, it was more him not just being completely satisfied with some of the verbiage he might have been saying,
Yeah, he strives for excellence for sure.
Oh yeah, which is good.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
So all right, so we got all right. So The Thai, that's probably the one I'm least familiar with.
Oh yeah. So the tie is awesome, and maybe this is a good opportunity for me to point out some other parts because like I get the monthly video from him. You know,
Okay.
I have for like 11 years, and in the tie video, and then in the old Seal Out for the Street video that was on blackbelt.com, he goes into the history. So he
Yeah.
talks about like the Y crew, which is the dance you see in the beginning of a Thai boxing match.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do it? Like, what is the purpose? What does each movement mean? You know, and he describes it and how to perform it, and that's
Okay.
like very Silat. And it was interesting because I did my Thai certification while I was doing Silat for the Street. So like I was doing both
Oh, so you
the
were seeing.
rounds,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
simultaneously. And I saw the parallels and how well they mix together, like
Yeah.
and like the obvious like parent art that's missing there. There's something there that those branched off of 100% because there's a dance that they do before the fight. There's similar style music, Thai music. The Thai music and the Thai boxing is very unique, but there's a similar type of like cadence and
Mm.
rhythm to it. And then the fighting elements, especially in the clinch, are very, very similar. But yeah, Muay Thai, that program has a lot of street elements. I know he's kind of revamping it right now with another Muay Thai instructor, which I can't wait. It's going to be like the trapping thing for me. Like I got to do
Oh,
it
okay. Yeah,
before, and then I'll do it again. um, so I'm very excited about that. But I love it. I've always liked Muay Thai as a kickboxing style. I would say it's probably my primary kickboxing vehicle, even though I do Jeet Kune Do, which has there's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
kickboxing
Which
style
has
in it.
obviously an aspect of that
Done
in
some
there.
Savate, I've done Taekwondo. MMA has its a blend of those things. But I would say like my primary would be Muay Thai with like a street or MMA
Yeah,
focus.
yeah. I might do it. I'm just older.
Oh, you can do
The
it.
one thing I'm going to do after definitely the JKD try. I want to revisit that because I haven't. I did get my JKD instructorship, um, but again, um, there was some focus on trapping 100%. You know what I mean? But it was more boxing and have the boxing, see what you can pull off. But I would like definitely to see his lens on it, in there. But what else? What else? Let me see. You had the tie, Silat, the stick, knife, MMA, BJJ. What am I
Hmm.
missing?
Um, I don't know. Sila. I think that's all of them. I think you got them all.
So what would you, if okay, assuming you have the time, desire, and all, like what would you like to do that you haven't done, start to finish, and get ranking that he's offering?
Right now, like right this second.
Yeah, or
So
and if you
released,
or future lens.
released or not released?
Well, let's go with released.
Released. Um, yeah, the next one I'll probably test in will be staff, but I really like the Panatukan. Um, yeah, the next one I'll do staff next, which I know you filmed it with him,
No,
but
I think you're
yeah,
no, I think you're gonna really enjoy it. I did it. It was a lot of fun, and obviously, you get a better understanding of that weapon, of course, because like you said, because you got smart with it. Um,
hmm.
yeah,
I might do the cane and knife one too, though.
I
Um,
have that. Yeah, and I was there. It was so funny. I was there, and I remember there's 12 scenarios, but I couldn't tell you what the 12 scenarios are. I know there's 12. You know what I mean? Like I was there, but just because you're in that moment, you're trying to help them. You're not like trying to retain like
yeah,
what each one is. You're just trying to be there and do the right thing and do the right feed and be on time, be in the moment, and without screwing anything up.
yeah.
So
I think I have shown in my classes all 12 scenarios now.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but man, I really like that. I wouldn't teach it for myself because I'm mobile.
Yeah, yeah,
person.
yeah. But for somebody who, and that's the thing too, he was getting flack when he got released, and I had to explain to this person, like, okay, again, context for the person who has extreme balance and mobility issues, right? That's why you would maybe have to go this, because you can't generate power swinging, because again, your balance is in question and your mobility, right?
Yeah, I don't want to signal boost the criticism, but I do want to hear it. Like, what was that they
It
were like,
was
you can.
basically it was basically like, their issue was like, why are you conjoining the knife with the cane? Like, why wouldn't you just use the cane? Now, mind you, some of the criticism was the folks that didn't watch the whole entire program. They were making it based off just from an external lens of what they were seeing being offered, right? So I get that part. They didn't see it. But I had to like over explain. It's not for the guy who's just walking around a cane, who's got decent stability. Maybe he can generate some momentum, some power with this. This is for the person that really truly needs it. Their balance is an issue. Their mobility is an issue. So they're not going to be able to just pick up the cane when those things are a factor and just generate tremendous power to offset a younger person attacking them. Hence, the backup having the knife. God forbid they couldn't do that, or the cane got grabbed. You know what I mean? Like they just couldn't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's surprising. Yeah, I guess it's like they didn't watch it, so they didn't see there's
They
another part of it.
again, it was definitely from like just an outside looking in, seeing the description, seeing the offer. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
What's crazy is I bet that person trains, right? Maybe
They
they've even
well, just
done
actual
rattan. Yeah.
kings, a couple of them actual king.
Yeah. Okay. So, and probably with like actual implements like rattan sparring.
I can't say yes to that. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
But if you have, and I'm not saying you have to do rattan sparring so you understand this, but you should know. Dean and I have both done rattan sparring, and we are both alive. We've been hit with sticks,
Yeah.
right? Like I've been hit in the face with a baseball bat, like right on my jaw.
Oh.
I am alive. I'm still here. I didn't go unconscious.
Meaning what? Doesn't mean you get hit. It stopped you, right?
It doesn't stop me. Just so but if you stabbed me in the neck, I would stop.
That's the thing. Like, think about it. You're elderly. I use a young buck. It doesn't mean you're stopping dead in their tracks because you hit him
Nope.
one time with a cane.
Exactly.
Why did Dog Brothers go to clinch? Because they were crowning people the caveman and they were still coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's you see it in all the Filipino martial arts systems too. What do you see? You go to the class, you get the this is how we strike, and then what do we do in almost every class? Right, we're learning a disarm.
Yeah,
Right, I mean, almost every class you're going to learn some sort of disarm. If it may just be hit to the hand, but it could be like we're coming in. Especially a lot of programs we do it's because they don't just go away when you hit them in the head. You have to
right.
take their stick out of their hand so they can't hit you, and then you finish them.
Yeah,
And it's progressives like boxing. Unless of course it's the sword, then it's a totally different
yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oops. But
yeah. Well, it's over
yeah, it
now.
was just bizarre, and like I was trying to keep it respectful because I just didn't want to go be a bad representative, and which I don't
Mhm.
do. But I was getting annoyed because I'm just like, you're misconstruing and not understand. You know what I mean? And finally, me and the person are fine now. We actually in there.
Mhm.
But it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, I think they should just try it. That's my
Totally. And I said that. I said, and you know what I said to, hey, look, it just, and I finally just say, hey, you know what? This program might not just be for you, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah, it's hard, like when someone has an opinion like that, but you see like logic is leading you one way, but there's other things going on, and maybe that person can generate enough force with a cane that they can knock somebody out cold. You know, like I said, the cane and knife program, I don't necessarily need to do cane and knife. I can move around,
yeah,
right? I'm not saying I would fight with a cane. Maybe against an empty-handed person, I could fight with a cane for length. But there are a lot of other tools that I can use. But I teach self-defense to a lot of different people, older people,
That's the thing. Like,
kids,
yeah, like I wouldn't
Not
do
that I
it.
would teach kids how to stab people.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't say that. That was not what I was saying.
yeah. Like yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, in other words, I wouldn't take it from myself, but if an elderly person came to me, I'm not going to give them a false sense of like, yeah, this by
Yeah.
itself is going to serve you. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, totally. I totally agree.
yeah, interesting. So, and then the sword. You know what? You know what's funny? I started doing the sword. I was going to test for level 3, and then I started doing KI with them. I did it,
Yeah.
and then I just put the sword over there. But the bind stuff, I thought the bind material was exceptional. You know?
I love the sword program. It's probably why I haven't actually tested in the Illustrissimo program, because the DNA of the Illustrissimo program is in the sword
Totally. Yeah, yeah,
program.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can, it's in there, but it's got that Battlefield Collie lens, and I'm already a Battlefield Collie instructor and stick and knife. So there's again, like, you can take some of the principles, the angles, the stuff, and it just
Sure.
imprints onto the new weapon. But I love the sword,
Yeah.
and I love the bind stuff, and going from the bind. Um, and I really love the charging part.
Mm.
Have you played like sparring force on force, like 3 people
The only
versus
thing
3
that
people?
I only got to level, like I was about to test level 3, and then again
So
he
it's not.
started me, and I didn't even look at 4. I didn't even look at level 4. I just
So it's not in the actual program. The bind stuff is in the program
Okay.
for like level 3 and 4, but the outside bind module. Yeah, awesome. The binding modules are
Yeah,
awesome.
Eric
But
should.
but that's great. Yeah. But in class in headquarters, when we did the Battlefield Collie class, we would often end with half of the people on one side and half of the people on the other side, and we would run in the middle and fight like a battlefield.
Mass Attack. Oh, yeah. I used to
Yeah,
do that
like
with
a
my kids with
massive.
Action Flex. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I do
Okay.
that with my
Oh, it's
kids
so much
jiu-jitsu
fun. Oh my
class.
God, the kids
That's the
loved it.
reward in my kids jiu-jitsu class. They get to
There we
fight
go.
each other with pool
Yeah.
noodles.
Oh, they loved
But
it. Oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's I think it's in the 4th level. There's the charging. So the opponent runs at you and swings, and you have to move. You do a juke step and then hit, or you step off, duck under it, or you come to the outside and
Okay.
hit.
Okay. Yeah.
I love that part of the program because that
Yeah.
has the real the feeling of a battlefield. Because if you imagine ancient battle, I'm thinking
Can you
ancient
imagine
battlefields.
like limbs just flying? I mean, can you just? I can't even
Yeah.
imagine, man. Like,
Yeah, and you have to move and boom, and you have to trust your people behind you to take care of people who get past you. Crazy.
man,
Love it.
can't even imagine. That's just like, yeah. I mean, like limbs just flying all over the. Oh my God, yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
That's just like, so then, what do you teach? Like, as far as like your student base, like, do you have particular classes? Like, okay, like this night is the Battlefield Collie night. This night is such and such.
Yeah, so I used to have a Battlefield Collie class that went on Saturday. Now I teach it as part of my main class, my JKD Unlimited class or MMA for the Street class. So there's a weapons round at the end, or not round, sorry. There's a weapons technique. So I do scenario, kickboxing, clinch, and weapons. And I had to do a jiu-jitsu for the street class, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu for the street class. So we do mostly ground in there. Every once in a while we'll put ground back in the MMA. But yeah, like last night I was showing Battlefield Collie staff, was showing a staff technique, but relating it to bayonet fighting from the Marine Corps martial arts program. So we always do that. And then the sparring is open so they can work on whatever they're working on, right? So whatever's on their logs, they can do their kickboxing rounds, their Valley Tudo rounds.
Oh, depending on what they're
rounds,
going
knife.
for. I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
so I keep
yeah.
that part open, do about 5 to 6 rounds at the end. So I teach it as one thing. I do that multiple nights.
Oh, that's neat. That's a neat way to approach so they can get their rounds in. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it got to the point where I was like, I'm an instructor of so many things. I'm teaching so many things. I was like, I don't have enough time to teach a class in every single one of these.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, so it all gets put into one. And then this week we're doing staff. This week we're doing sword. This week, focus on.
Yeah, it's just easy on yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be freaking living there,
Yeah, exactly.
But wow. So what? So I do got to get here. So just final
Yeah.
thoughts. Like, what would you recommend? Okay, one program. If you were to recommend one program to the audience, what would you recommend?
MMA for the street.
For me, folks, it's going to be Sea Lot for the street, but I can certainly understand why Sean would choose MMA for the street because there's weapons in there, there's the ground, there's stand up,
Yeah.
there's clinch. I could definitely see why he would advocate for that. So either one, I think,
Comprehensive.
fully comprehensive. That's
But since it's an FMA discussion podcast, I'm going to choose my favorite Kali program, and I'm going to say Battlefield Kali Sword.
Kali Sword. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I think. Yeah.
So we got. I'm going to advocate CL for the street. You're advocating MMA for the street. But if you were to go in the FMA lens, you would choose Sword for the street.
The sword. It's just so unique and fun. Yeah. I love the single stick program too. I'm probably just taking it for granted because I've just done it for so long. Yeah. But yeah, the sword is so interesting, and he talks about historical aspects. And
there's some history in there. Yeah,
it's so cool. I really like that program.
I do like, that's another thing too. There's always an educational aspect to it, like particularly in the CLA and the FM, like you get some of that history, and the educational aspect to it. Yeah.
I know you got to go, and I'm just going to.
Oh yeah, no, good.
There's a guy. He's considered the founder of hoplology, which is the study of human combat, and his name is Richard Burton. Did you know that? Richard Burton.
No, because Molly Powell, I've done a lot with Molly Powell, and is kind of having him on here, him talking about that, and of course Don Drager.
Yeah.
I mean, they say, but Richard Burton was wow, interesting.
Isn't that interesting? And so I want Burton to do a documentary about the history of martial arts, of all the martial arts that he's practiced. I would love him to just do, or a book, something. I want him to just lay out the history of it because I love when he does that.
He certainly would be. I mean, he could probably do it just as well as anybody, right? I mean,
it might be a series. That could be like a whole series, of the history of, Filipino martial arts, the history of Indonesian silat.
Because he was there when all the all-time greats were coming through the academy. So,
yeah, it's incredible, and he could just do the history of the Inosanto Academy. in a book, pretty incredible.
Yeah, right there. Okay, just think about that. The early days of the Inosanto Academy.
Oh yeah. To be very cool.
But awesome. Well, hey, I'm glad you make it. This was enjoyable. Appreciate you.
Yeah, anytime.
On. Yeah. Actually, I can always find something to talk about. What we could do next? Actually, I think would be really neat. This is something I always wanted to do. Why the reluctance of FMA to train BJJ, and why the reluctance of BJJ to look at weapons? You know what I mean? Like there is still out there. I think it's improved, 100%. Especially in the combatives community. But I'm talking about those who are strictly BJJ, those are FMA. There seems to be a reluctance to, and I think the two together, that's something we could do. That'd be kind of neat.
I'd really like to talk about that. Of course, I have never experienced it because I do both.
No, you do. But I'm just telling you, some of the guys have been the easiest guys to stab on the ground, and we're coming from a pure BJJ lens.
Oh yeah. I don't know what that is, but I want to talk about it.
I could tell you just from my experience, they're going for what they know. They're gonna do what they know. You don't know what you don't know. And they were going for chokes and all this while they were going for opportunity instead of dealing with the threat first. I could tell you what happened as opposed to acknowledging the threat before accessing opportunity. And there was that in there. And so they were trying to go through their bread and butter, chokes and all that. Meanwhile, not dealing with the threat.
Wow. Yeah.
So we should do that definitely. We could even do to make it even better. If you could get somebody, we could even do it at your school, where you could even kind of like a show and tell.
Oh yeah, we could do something like that.
Yeah, because now people watching, they can actually see what we're. You know what I mean? That might be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would love to do that. That would be.
Yeah, fantastic. No. Just let me know. Talk to whoever you would want to coordinate with and have there. Give me the days and times that work both for you to actually get that person there. And if I know in advance, I can make it happen.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Let me know though. That would be a good subject matter. Yeah.
I love it.
All right, Sean. Hey, well, thank you for coming on again. And let me know on that.
Yeah, awesome. Can I plug something real quick?
Please do. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
look
Go
at me.
ahead.
I'm like a professional. Uh, I'm doing a podcast too, actually, now. It's called The Choke Points on Cincy MMA on YouTube.
Okay.
Mostly talking about jujitsu. Jujitsu, I have one of my jujitsu competitors on there. Mostly talking about that, but that we have like an Ask a Black Belt segment. I only release monthly. I'm not on the prolific level of Dean here,
Oh my
but
God. Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Comes with a high steady side dishes of passive aggressiveness and drama and politics. So
totally, yeah, I totally get it. Mine's just it's just us talking for an hour. But yeah, if you guys want to listen to that, please
can you know
tune
what
in.
you do? This would be the best thing you do. In the comment section, just put the address in there.
Cool, yeah, I will.
People will check it out. But yeah, definitely hit me up because I think that'd be an excellent talk. You with a partner, we can like how the two and how to go about the two, how to integrate the two, what to look for if you're playing defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have the guy to co-host for my podcast, so it'll actually be perfect for him because he primarily does sport Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's a competitor,
Perfect.
so he'd be a perfect person to
Yeah,
bring
just let me
on.
know when it work. Awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right, John, you take care. Thanks.
All right, man. See ya.
All right, bye. All right, folks, that wraps up 521. Who is next? We're gonna reach out to Brian Marr, but those you're watching, if you have a theme or you think of something that'd be really interesting with FMA being in there, just to stay true to FMA discussion, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out, send me a message. I'd be more than happy to cover it. You know what I mean? Kind of staying more theme oriented. No, if somebody hasn't been on before, I'll absolutely bring them on. But as you know, going on 6 years, kind of going through the list, so to speak, right? So by all means, don't hesitate to suggest. And as always, you'll see the next episode pinned in FMA discussion. Those who watch, thank you, and I will see you next time.